Have you ever wondered what happens to the spirits of the mentally ill after they die? Do they find peace like the rest of us? Or are they bound to the place of their torment, reliving every scream, every shock, every moment of madness? There's a place that dares to answer that question, Ravencroft Asylum. Abandoned, forgotten, but never silent. Locals won't go near it, animals won't step inside, and those who do return aren't quite the same. Built in 1893 on the outskirts of town, Ravencroft was meant to be a sanctuary for those lost in the mind, but in truth, it became a dumping ground for the unwanted, the poor, the misunderstood. Some were mentally ill, others were just inconvenient. Its red brick walls hid horrors that no one wanted to see. Patients were chained in basements. Lobotomies were done in groups like factory work. Some were strapped down for months at a time, fed through tubes, left to rot in their own filth. The asylum's records speak in whispers, entire wings erased from the logs, death counts accidentally blacked out, and a mysterious entry marked only as patient 143, status unknown. Then, in the winter of 1977, came the fire. Flames devoured the East Wing. Emergency services responded, but no survivors were found, and yet, no bodies were ever recovered. The fire was blamed on faulty wiring, but townsfolk spoke of screams, not of pain, but rage. They claimed the patients rose up, locked the doors, and burned themselves alive in protest. Except, not all of them died. Years passed. The building stood untouched, slowly being consumed by vines and rot. But Ravencroft didn't stay silent. Local kids dared each other to go in. Most ran out screaming, claiming they saw faces in windows or heard screaming from the attic. Paranormal groups began to investigate, and one by one, they all came back with the same phrase: "It watches." One team left their audio recorder behind overnight. The next morning, they retrieved it and found hours of silence, followed by a faint lullaby being hummed. Then a voice, a child's voice asking, "We heard that tape. It doesn't sound like a recording. It sounds like something alive." We had to see for ourselves. We entered on a foggy morning, camera gear, EMF meters, voice recorders. The second we stepped in, it felt wrong, like the walls themselves were watching. The air wasn't stale, it was thick, like breathing through wet cloth. Paint peeled like skin. Ceiling tiles sagged like something heavy walked just above us. Every room told a story. An old surgical room, splattered with dark stains. A recreation hall with children's shoes arranged in a perfect circle. A padded cell, with words carved into every inch of the walls. Still here, still here, still here. In the basement, we found a row of steel doors, 5 in total, all locked. But one door, number 4, was open just a crack. Inside, we found an old gurney, and what looked like claw marks gouged into the floor. No animal did that. Our voice recorder picked up something faint, something that didn't match any of our voices. It whispered, "Don't forget us." Suddenly, our EMF spiked. A light exploded behind us, and then we heard footsteps. Slow, dragging, but no one was there. Later, we discovered the infamous Red Room. It doesn't show up on any blueprint. No door leads to it directly. You have to go through the staff quarters, down a broken stairwell, through a narrow corridor that wasn't there minutes before. Inside, it's freezing, always, even in summer. Our camera shut down immediately. Batteries drained. Then we saw it, a handprint forming on the fogged mirror. No one touched it. It was upside down, fingers stretched, and too long. And then, we heard breathing, behind us, not fast, calm, like whatever it was, had been watching us for a while. The worst came when we reached the restricted wing, the one sealed by fire. Charred walls, melted furniture. And yet, somehow, the hallway looked maintained, as if someone still lived there. That's when we found it, a room labeled with nothing but a black mark and rusted plaque. Patient unseen. The lock had been melted off, not broken. Melted. Inside, there were no windows, just a single bed and a mirror. But the mirror didn't reflect us. Instead, it showed something else. A figure, strapped to the bed, eyes hollow, mouth open in a silent scream. We turned around. The bed was empty. We looked back at the mirror. The figure was standing behind us. We ran. Down the hall, up the stairs, out the door. But as we reached the exit, the front door slammed shut on its own. We were trapped for 7 full minutes, and in that time, something followed us. A light fixture swayed violently. Doors slammed in a rhythm, 4 bangs. Pause. 4 bangs. Like a patient number. When we finally escaped, the sun was gone. But something was waiting in the back seat of our car. The camera caught it. A shadow, blacker than night, vanishing in a blink. We left that day, but we didn't really leave. Since then, we've heard knocking. At 3:43 a.m. every night. Always 4 knocks. We've received calls from numbers that don't exist, and a voice on the other end simply says, "Still here." So maybe Ravencroft isn't just haunted. Maybe it feeds. Maybe the patients never left. And maybe they're not the ones still suffering. Because we can't sleep, we can't forget. And sometimes, in the mirror, we still see the room, and someone's still screaming. Some places were meant to be abandoned. But Ravencroft, it doesn't let go.